Sure. Mr. Chairman, I have a here because you know, it is about appearances. This gentleman back there, sir. Sir, you see, I don't want to have any appearances of not doing what is right. Are you, as in here, as an advocate for the opponents of the Babylon, or are you here as the counsel for the mayor? Because I see you talking to staff and then going and talking around. That is not right, sir. I mean, if you, I mean, you were the attorney for a record of the Babylon. That, excuse me. What I want to know is, I mean, I want, said it again, and all the time I want transparency. I don't want anybody to believe that what you're doing, you're trying to influence either the staff or influence the other people. I saw you, I was watching you, and there were some people that they called my attention, called attention that what you were doing. It is not right, sir. You should, if you're here as opponent of a different type of whatever, I mean, you're supporting the people that oppose the Babylon, you cannot be then the council, be here as the counsel for the mayor, because that it is not right. I just want to make sure that everybody understand that, and the sake of transparency, I want you to stop that.
Thank you, Commissioner Reyes. Do you have any minutes?
Commissioner Gordon, Commissioner Reyes. I appreciate the opportunity to address that. I think the beginning of this year, I appeared before this board on a repeated basis as a concerned resident. As some of you know, I am the president of my condo board. I am also in a position in the Point View Association, which is a version of the Master Association in that area. Many of my friends, neighbors are present here. I take an opportunity to thank them for being here, as I have seen you, Commissioner, lead your neighbors when they were addressing Silver Bluff. You've talked to them, you've addressed their concerns. You are a commissioner, of course. May I finish, Commissioner?
Just finish, please.
Thank you. And my point in this process, where it began earlier in this year, was to assist my neighbors. I am a concerned resident. I have, as you might appreciate, a First Amendment right. We're talking about due process. We're talking about the opportunity to everybody have their issues raised, and that is clearly a key process here. On PC 13, on that issue, I think I've decided not to necessarily address that, because I think the Commission has been well served by your city of Miami. I think also that you have been well served by the vocal members of our neighbors that were here and presented. I try to be very respectful to the Commission, to be judicial and in an economic perspective. I think we've heard a lot of that this afternoon. I think you would agree with me. So having my voice heard on this issue, I only speak as the president of my building, as someone that has lived there for an extended period of time. Actually, I grew up in that building. My secretary and vice president of my building were not here. Well, actually, they were here. They had to leave because this takes too much time. So to answer your question, as it relates to talking to my neighbors, I think it would be disrespectful if I didn't say, hello, how are you, how's everything going, and that's the extent of it. So I think that I think you would agree with me to keep it all professional.
No,
and
keep
be
it
respectful.
professional.
I think you are. I'm not saying otherwise.
Wait a minute. But what I saw, what I was watching here, was you encouraging and coaching them, and then going and talking to the staff. You see,
Uh,
it could.
but hold on, Commissioner,
You
I
might
have to-
not. Wait a minute.
but I have to
Wait a
address
minute.
that.
Let me finish. Let me finish.
Through the chair, please.
Okay.
I'll let
Chair.
you answer.
I
Let him
will-
finish and I'll
Let me finish.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, what I'm saying is that that could be perceived, you see, it could be perceived that you being from staff of the mayor, being the counsel for the mayor, when you talk to the some stuff, I don't know, you might be talking about the Marlins, but that could be perceived that you encouraging and give them high five and congratulating everybody that spoke against it, and then going over there that they could be influenced by, and we cannot allow that here, sir. That's my only point. So,
Commissioner,
Thank you,
I'm happy.
Commissioner.
Oh,
Excuse me,
Chair,
Commissioner. Yes, sir.
we order Papa John's. If you would like some, it's upstairs. That's the extent of our conversation. No, that's the extent of our conversation, Commissioner. That's the extent of our conversation. There is Papa John's upstairs. I don't know if there's any left because I haven't had any of it, but I ordered for the staff so everybody can enjoy some.
Mr.
Thank
Chairman,
you. Excuse me,
I just want you to.
I need to say something.
I just want you to stick to your role. That's it.
I appreciate that.
And don't give anybody here, anybody that is watching this, the wrong perception. That's it.
I
Perception is everything.
Of course, Commissioner. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I need to preserve the record and ask Mr. Leal a few questions.
I'm not under cross-examination, and I have addressed the Commissioner's questions.
Through the
That's the
chair.
extent of it. Thank you, Commissioner.
Through the chair, this is to the legality of this proceeding. I have a few questions for Mr. Leal.
You must be looking for the crumbs from the Papa John's pizza.
Wait a minute.
Well, for the record, Mr. Leal has spoken before the City Commission several times as it relates to the 1983 covenant. Mr. Leal has never registered as a lobbyist. Mr. Leal testified as an unregistered lobbyist at the May 1st PZAB hearing. Mr. Leal spoke on behalf of the 1420 Brickell Bay Drive Condominium Association. Again, as a city employee, he was already employed by the City of Miami on April 22nd, 2019, and he appeared before the Planning Zoning Appeals Board on May 1st, lobbying both the city administration as well as the Planning Zoning Appeals Board. And to date, he has not registered as a lobbyist simply because he cannot register as a lobbyist because he has a financial relationship with city officials as an employee of the City of Miami. And since he spoke, I felt like I should put that on the record. Thank you.
Thank you.
Glad you did, and if you so kind, you can send copies of that to my office. I'd like to see it. The one thing that I do have a problem with before I even found this out is that Madam City Attorney and the office of the mayor hires someone who's got the title of city council. I'm told by him that this is not the title that he has. That's supposed to be approved by this commission. Don't we have a right?
Yes,
And,
but remember that those approvals happen in a lot of ways, depending on if there's budgetary approvals or line items, but it needs to be
It's
approved.
come in, we haven't had any budgetary approvals, any line items,
Okay.
and no requests have come to this commission whatsoever. Unless I missed something, if anybody else in the commission remembers that the office of the mayor sent a request as a pocket item, because I haven't seen any of the agendas, and that to be approved, that also is happening. I guess we're going to do things the way that official aisle representation was done here. Any others?